All right, we'll get to this. I am excited for this fight. I think that everybody is really, really excited for this fight. It's been highly anticipated. Does that give you any pressure kind of going into it, knowing how much people are looking forward to this fight?
Nope, not at all. Actually, to me, pressure is a privilege. I love the pressure. I kind of talk all this shit and I carry myself in a way to create some pressure. I feel like I thrive best under the lights, under pressure situations. And I also feel like a lot of fucking people out there, especially fighters, do not do good under the pressure, especially when you're not used to it. I started wrestling when I was 5 years old. So I've kind of had big matches, big wrestling matches under my glove. And I don't think the guy that I'm facing, Stots, has faced too much pressure throughout his career. So obviously with me, one of my goals is to make this the biggest fucking fight that there is, because I think that's when the best Danny Sabatello will come out. And I also think that's when Raufeon Stots is going to crumble. I already have him acting in a way that he doesn't normally act. And usually that is not good for somebody. So obviously I want to create as much pressure as possible. I want to have him feel the pressure. I want the lights to be very bright. I think his legs are going to be a little bit heavier. His arms are a little bit heavier. And we'll just see how he reacts to the pressure.
And what way do you feel like you're making him act in a way that he isn't? Are you talking about the trash talk?
Yeah, so if you go back and you look at his interviews and kind of how he carries himself during fight week against all these other fighters that he's went up against, he might talk a little bit of trash, but it's never too personal. It never really seems like it's coming from a bad place. But now that he's facing me and he sees that he has a big fighter going up against him that's just absolutely trying to kill him. This is me being me and actually really wanting to fucking inflict heavy damage on him. And he's never felt that before. He's never had somebody in his face letting him know that. After my last fight with Higo, I had my middle finger in his face for about 5 seconds and he didn't really do shit for that long. I think he was absolutely stunned. So those are little things that I want to do and just completely stun him. Again, I don't think he will react positively whenever there is a bunch of pressure or he is in a foreign way. I have him in an absolutely foreign thing right now, talking all this trash against me, and we'll see how he responds.
And you mentioned the trash talk. How would it feel or going into a fight where maybe the opponent wasn't trash talking, that he was just playing it cool? Like, is it hard for you to go in without a little bit of that kind of animosity with your opponent?
I mean, I like the trash talk when they're talking back just because it makes it more fun to me. I always say I fucking love fighting. That's my true love, but I also love talking trash. So it makes it more fun to me when they talk trash. It makes me seem like the better guy because I'm getting in their head and having them reacting when they usually don't. But if they weren't talking trash, then it's no sweat off my back. I will continue to talk the trash. My last fight with Leandro Higo, he didn't really speak the clearest of English. I think he just spoke Portuguese. So I kind of experienced that with last fight, but I also had him responding in a way where he didn't really talk trash either. But again, when you fight me, you kind of have to change up who you are. You have to talk the trash. You kind of have the pressure of, holy shit, I have to talk the trash, or else the fans are going to be fucking pissed at me. So again, I want to have people think as much as they can going into fights with me. A lot of times these fighters overthink things, and that's when they kind of shell up. If you look at my last fight with Higo, he absolutely did that. I think I had that fight won with my trash talk. I think I was in his fucking head before that fight. I think I already won the mental warfare with that fight. And I feel similarly with this fight. I think I'm already in his fucking head. I think I already have the mental warfare won. And after a couple of rounds, I'll prove it. Obviously when people think too much and they have so much mental warfare going on, they get very tired because their adrenaline is just pumping that first round. This first round, I know this motherfucker Stotts hates me. I know he's going to be trying to knock me out. He's going to be swinging for the fucking fences. But little does he know that's when the openings open up for me, and I'm going to make him look like a fucking toddler.
Are you looking forward to maybe getting your first Bellator finish, or are you kind of hoping that you can torture him or go through this whole fight and make it a long fight? Which are you hoping for?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I'm hoping to torture him. I want to leave him fucking scars on his face the rest of his life. Obviously, I want to make it bloody. One of my goals each fight is to finish these guys. But obviously, if you look at my resume, I've been going up against absolute killers. I'm trying to finish Higo. I'm trying to finish Brett Johns. It's just tough because they're fucking great fighters. But again, I'm dominating them. When you look at my fights, I might not have the finish, but you see that not only am I winning these fights, but I'm straight fucking dominating these really high-level guys. And I think that's why I've gotten a lot of attention, not just because of my persona and how it's electric and how it's actually me, which the fans are starting to understand it's actually me, but it's also me going out there and performing and dominating. With this fight specifically, I do see myself finishing him. Really, in terms of a stylistic matchup, with the last one against Higo, I couldn't open up too much just because he specializes on the ground and he's waiting for me to open up just so he could catch me slipping for a split second, slit up my throat and choke me out or get an arm bar or a leg lock or something like that. With this fight against Stots, he doesn't specialize in jiu-jitsu. He doesn't specialize in striking or anything like that. I can really open up, and that's usually when the finishes come. Obviously this is a fucking title fight, so it's 5 rounds. I'll have 25 minutes to finish him, but I don't want it to be a first round finish. I don't want to have this over quickly. I don't want any room for the fans to say, holy shit, what would have happened if it would have went on a little longer? Would have actually finished him? No, I want to fucking torture him first, dominate him, impose my will with him, break him, cut him open, and then finish him. Probably in that 4th round. I do want it to go to the championship rounds. Bottom line is I love fighting. I actually love being in the cage and actually fighting. So I would be a little upset if it was over early just because I want to fucking fight. So hopefully it will be a finish via TKO in that 4th round.
Do you feel like he's a true champion, or do you feel like if you beat him, you still need to beat Sergio in order to kind of really consider yourself the real champion? I know it's an interim title, but how do you feel as far as, being called a champion at that point?
Yeah, the winner of this fight will be the champion of the division. Right now, Raufeon Stots is the fucking champion. I don't want to hear shit about Sergio Pettis. He's a bitch. He's a pussy. He couldn't even make it to the Grand Prix. Also, if you just look in terms of his fighting, there's no way he's on the level of me or even Raufeon. And I think the fans do understand that. They don't really give a fuck about Sergio Pettis. Make no mistake, this shit will end against Sergio Pettis after I win this tournament. And that will be a sick-ass fight in it of itself. But for now, the champion of this division will come out December 9th, the winner between me and Stots. And I will just carry that. Obviously, this is the biggest fight of my life. This is the biggest fight of Stots' life. It's an absolute mega fight for Bellator and just MMA in general. So I really do think the winner of this fight is the champion of the division. And I think we will be recognized as such. I don't think people really realize that the winner of this fight is so much better than anybody else. If you look at our fucking side of the bracket in this Grand Prix tournament, it's so much better than the other side. But again, all 4 of us are pretty good. Obviously the Russian guy, Magomed and Patchy are okay. They kind of suck compared to me, but they're okay. And obviously it's going to be very exciting, not just this fight, but in the finals and then the ending with Sergio Pettis.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually don't even realize that this isn't the final fight because it's so big. There is one more fight. If you get through Raufeon and you mentioned Patchy and Magomed, which would you prefer to fight of the two, or does it matter to you?
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck. They're both fucking dorks in my book. They both suck. They're not really too high level in any area. If Patchy doesn't get your back and have that little body hook, he's not very good anywhere. Magomed is a little bit tricky because he throws a lot of spinning attacks, but if he doesn't get those, he kind of looks like a fish out of water. I don't really give a fuck in terms of the actual fight, who I'm fighting. It would be nice to have somebody talk trash back with me just because it's more fun. And I know Magomed doesn't speak the clearest of English, so it would be fun to just fucking daddy Patchy around. But again, I don't really give a fuck either way. I don't really have a prediction for that fight. If I were to guess, I would say Magomed. But honestly, I don't really feel too confident in that pick. They both fucking suck.
And my last question for you, of these things, which is your biggest goal? Winning the World Grand Prix, winning the undisputed title, or beating Raufeon?
Beating Raufeon, number 1, absolutely. I fucking hate this guy. I've never really been a huge money guy. I think a lot of average people out there have money. Anybody can accumulate a fucking $1 million. To me, that's not that special. The special thing is being the best fighter on the fucking planet. And that's what I'm searching for right now. If I beat Raufeon Stots, I will be considered the best fighter on the planet. But this one's just a little bit more personal than being considered the best fighter on the planet or $1 million fucking dollars or any of that bullshit. For right now, all I want to do is put my elbow through fucking Stots' skull. That would mean the most to me. I really fucking don't like the guy. He's very opposite of me. He's a fake motherfucker. He's always commenting and liking on everybody's Instagram pictures, getting everybody to like him. He hops around from gym to gym because he's a gym slut. He's not a fucking loyal guy. He's very opposite of me. So, obviously there's a lot of bad blood in this fight. And my number 1 goal right now is just beating the fuck out of Raufeon Stots.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you.
Good luck. Bye-bye.